Okay, so this example now. Okay, so I'll ask few questions. Okay, I'll ask some few questions. So now what I will do, I'll create object of C class. I'll create object of C class. So now tell me, using this C class object, okay, using this C class object, which all instance method I can call. Okay, so I'll ask one by one. Okay, so can I write C1 dot function 1? Is it possible? Okay, C1 dot function 2, C1 dot function 3. Correct? No, why I'm able to call? Because this C is nothing but super child of every class. Correct? No, so this is inheriting from B and B is inheriting from A. So can I tell this C is indirectly inheriting from A? Correct? No, so C is indirectly inheriting from A. That means when I'm writing B is inheriting from A, so this particular method will be accessible in B class. Correct? Similarly, when I write C is inheriting from B, so whichever method is present in B class will be present in C class. So because of this reason, when I'm creating object of C class, so whichever class it is inheriting from, okay, so all the data will be available in that particular class. So because of that reason, I'm able to write C1 dot function 1, C1 dot function 2, C1 dot function 3. Okay, now next example. Okay, now let's take next example. So now I'm writing B1 is equal to B. Now tell me which class object I'm creating. Which class object I'm creating? So B class object I'm creating. So if I write B1 dot function 1, will it work? So it should work. So B1 dot function 2, will it work? So definitely it should work. What about B1 dot function 3? Okay, so now B1 dot function 3 will give me error. Okay, so now you can see B1 dot function 1 will work, B1 dot function 2 will work. So if I give B1 dot function 3, it will give me error. Why? So why it will give error? So why it will give error? Okay, so because B is parent of C. Correct? No, not child of C. So can parent acquire child properties? No, right? So that's not possible. So because of this reason, we'll get error. Okay, so similarly, A1 is equal to A. I'm creating object of A class. So now can I write A1 dot function 1? Possible, right? A1 dot function 2, A1 dot function 3. Okay, so here we can see A1 dot function 1 will work. So if I write A1 dot function 2, do you think it is going to work? So it will give me error. Similarly, A1 dot function 3, it will give me error. So is it clear, this example? Okay, so the rules which are associated to inheritance. Okay, so now, so yesterday someone asked me, right, about constructor. So I think online student, someone asked me about constructor. So same thing we'll discuss today. Okay, so if you are creating inheritance, so how your constructor is going to work, so that we have to discuss today. Okay, now let us see one example. Okay, so I have created a class called A. I have created a class called A. Now inside this class A, I'm having one method, right? So what kind of method is this? So it's a constructor. Correct? It's a constructor. Now inside this constructor, I'm printing something. Okay, some message I'm printing. Similarly, I have created a class called B. Now this B class is inheriting from which class? A class. Now inside this B class, I am creating one more constructor. Inside this B class, I am creating one more constructor, and inside this constructor, I am printing some message. So now I am writing B is equal to B. So what I am trying to do here, I am creating object of, so class B. So now tell me what will be the output of this code? Hmm? So what will be the output of this code? So anyone? Okay, so I'm getting mixed answer. Okay, so how many of you think it will print class B constructor? So how many of you think it will print class B constructor? So be confident with your answer. Okay. So how many of you think it will print both? Others confused. Okay. Let us see. Okay. Let us see what it will do. Okay. So what I will do first. Okay. So let us see what will be the output. So remember when I write B is equal to P. So which class object I'm creating? So I'm creating object of B class. So now in B class, there is a constructor present, right? Is it present? So if you are having constructor in the B class, so only that constructor will be called. Is it clear? Okay. That means what will be the output then? So class B constructor. Okay. So remember, so we are creating object for child class. We are creating object for child class. So only child class constructor will be called. So only child class constructor will be called. Okay. So this is the rule in Python. So maybe in different, some different languages. So you are told both will be printed. Okay. But in Python, it does not work this way. Okay. In Python, the rules are different. So when you are creating object of child class, okay, it will call only the child class constructor. It will call the child class constructor. Is it clear? So what will be the output then? So class B constructor. I'll get output as class B constructor. Okay. So is it clear? Okay. So let us see this example. Okay. So what I will do, I'll create a class. So class called A. Now is this class inheriting from any other class? No. I'll just close it. So class A def. Yes. Now tell me if I execute this code, what will be the output of this code? So calling parent class constructor. Why? Because we are creating object of which class? We're creating object of A class. So whichever constructor is present in A class, so that particular constructor will be called. So let us execute this code. You can see calling parent class constructor. Okay. Now what I will do, I'll change the code. Okay, I'll change the code now. So B1 is equal to B. Okay. So now what will be the output? So calling child class constructor. So you can see here, it's only calling the child class constructor. So remember this point. Okay. So whoever answer was both. Okay. So remember it will not call the both the constructor. It will call only the child constructor. Okay. So this is it clear now? Okay. So next example. Okay. We'll see one more example. So now here I have created two class. Okay. So class called A, class called B. So now this class is parent class or child class? So parent class. Now here I have created one more child class called B. So B class is inheriting from A class. Now in B class, okay, in A class I'm having a constructor. I'm having a constructor. So in B class, do I have a constructor? In B class, do I have a constructor? No. So I'm creating object of B class. I'm creating object of B class. So now tell me what will be the output of this code? How? Default. Tell me what will be the output of this class, this code? The answer is correct, but how? Yes. Okay. So remember this point. Okay. So when the child class is not having any constructor, when the child class is not having any constructor, it will automatically call the parent class constructor. Okay. It will automatically call the parent class constructor. Is it clear? Okay. So the output of this code will be, okay. So you can see it here. So if we create object of child class, and if the child class constructor is not there, okay, or if you have not created a child class constructor, so in that case it will call the immediate parent constructor. Okay, so remember, it will call the immediate parent constructor. So here the output will be class A constructor. So I'll get output as class A constructor. Is it clear now? Is it clear? So when it will go to parent class, when we don't have child class constructor. Okay, so is this clear? So now you have to tell me output of this code. Okay. So tell me what will be the output of this code. So straight away you can say the output will be class C constructor. You can see I'm creating object of which class? C. So it will call the C class constructor. So output will be class C constructor. Okay. Now tell me output of this code. So you're able to make a difference, right? So I don't have, I'm creating object of C class. I'm creating object of C class. So in C class, do I have any constructor? No. So now it will go to immediate parent. So which is the immediate parent? B. Now inside B class, do I have any constructor? No. So again it will go to immediate parent. So which is the immediate parent for B? A. So now it will go and execute the A class constructor. So the output of this code will be class A constructor. Is it clear? This example. Okay. So remember there is one, okay, there is one more function called super in Python. Okay, so now you have to remember what is the importance of super. Okay, and this is one of the interview question also. Okay, so they may ask what is the use of super function. Okay, now let us see what is super first of all. So now first let us see what is the usage of super, then I'll tell you what is the definition for super. Okay, so you can see here I have created two class here. So class called A and class called B. Okay, class called A and class called B. Now inside class A I am having one constructor. Similarly inside class B also I'm having one constructor. Now when I create object of class B, so can you tell me what will be the output of this code? So okay, so you have tell the correct answer. Okay, but you have to understand how this code is going to work. Okay, so first of all, so when I write one is equal to B, so it will call which class constructor? So B class constructor will be called. So that means call will come to B class constructor. So now inside this B class constructor, I'm having super dot init. I'm having super dot init. So when I write super dot init, what it will do, it will call the immediate parent constructor. It will call immediate parent constructor. So when this particular line of this particular line is executed, again the call will go to this particular init method. So because of that, this class A constructor will be executed first. So once this is executed, so again the call will come to next line and will print class B constructor. Is it clear? The execution flow. Is it clear? The execution flow. Yes or no? No. Okay. Huh? Yes. I'll display in the PyCharm. Don't worry. Okay, so yeah. So now the call is coming for B1 is equal to B. So now tell me which constructor will be called. So B class constructor will be called. So now you can see the call is coming for B class constructor. So now inside this B class constructor, you can see I'm writing super dot init. Okay. So now, yeah. So now when this particular line is executed, so when this super dot init is executed, the call will automatically go for parent class construct. That means immediate parent. So now tell me who is immediate parent for B? Yeah. So the call will go for this class constructor, a class constructor. So now you can see the call is coming for a class constructor. So now it will execute the constructor. So it will print calling parent class constructor. So same thing you can see in the output. So calling parent class constructor. So once this code is executed, so it will come to next line. It will print calling child class constructor. So same thing you can see in the output. So calling parent class constructor, calling child class constructor. Is it clear now? Is it clear? Okay. So what I will do, I'll go for one more layer. Okay. So class C, which is inheriting from B. Okay. So now tell me the output of this code. Tell me output for this code. So calling parent class constructor and calling child class constructor. So now let us see whether the output is correct or not. I'm getting same output. So now tell me if I want to execute this grandchild also. So what I have to do? So I have to create object for. Okay. So you can see now this particular line of code will be executed. So when you try to execute this code, so which constructor will be called? So C class constructor will be called. So now it is calling the C class constructor. Now inside this constructor, I'm having super.init. So what it will do? It will call the immediate parent. Correct? It will call the immediate parent. So now that B class constructor will be executed. So now when I'm executing the B class constructor, so in this B class constructor again I have given super.init. So what it will do? It will move to class A. So first of all, it will print calling parent class constructor, then calling child class constructor, then calling grandchild class constructor. So you can see the output here. Okay. So is it clear now? Okay. The use of super. So now can you tell me why is the use of super now? So to call parent. Okay. So not only parent, to call immediate parent. Okay. So to access or to call immediate parent constructor or immediate parent method. So both you can do. Got it? Okay. So yeah. Okay, so super keyword is used to call immediate parent class constructor or method. You can print. You try once. Okay, even I'll try once. Don't worry. But which kind of variable? That depends. Class variable. So class variable, how we can access? Using the with the help of super or with the help of class name? Okay, I'll try that once. Okay, once again. Okay, so in class A, you want me to create a class variable. A is equal to 10. So here, let me try. Yes, you can. Okay. Now with the help of class name also you can do. Okay. Yeah. So you can access class variables, but not instance variables. Okay, using super, I'm not able to access the instance variable. So that I wanted to see once. Okay, so this point even you have to remember. So accessing the class variable is possible using the super keyword, but we cannot access the instance variable. Okay, so is it clear now? So this example. So can I go to next topic? Okay. So now tell me what is the use of super keyword? So super keyword is used to call immediate parent class, constructor or method. Okay. So the output will be class A constructor and class B constructor. Okay. So similarly, tell me what will be the output of this code. So already you have seen this example. So what will be the output? Okay. So here one point you have to remember. Okay. So what is that point? So that I'll explain. So when I write object is equal to C. So now the call will go for which constructor? So C class constructor will be called. So now it will try to execute this line of code. So now after this, it will come to this particular method. Correct? No. So now here I'm writing super dot init. But you can see some difference here, right? Yeah. So what is this 10? Yes. So when you want to call the parent class constructor, okay. Now this parent class constructor, is it expecting any parameter? Yes. So if you are not passing value for that parameter, it will give you error. It will give you error. And if you don't want to get that error, what you have to do? So you have to pass the value. What value? So some value are supposed to pass because it's expecting some value. So this 10 will be stored to x. So now this particular method will be called. Correct? No. So this particular method will be called. So now it will try to execute this particular constructor. Now when it's executing this constructor, again in the body it's having super.init. So what will be the output then? So class A constructor. So first class A constructor will be printed. After that, so class B constructor 10 will be printed. After that, so class C constructor. So your output will be class A constructor. So after class A constructor, class B constructor 10. So after that, class C constructor. So this will be the output of your code. So is this clear, this example? Okay. So here what is important? So this point, okay. So this point is very much important. So if your constructor is expecting some parameter, so what you are supposed to do? You are supposed to pass the argument for that one. Okay. So that is important in this slide. Okay. So that you have to understand. So when you are calling, so that particular value are supposed to pass. Okay. So now you have to tell me output of this code. So class A function and class B function. Okay, so class A function and class B function. So using super, what we can do? One dot. Okay, that will come here. Yes. Okay, so one dot function two. So now tell me what will be the output of this code. So first of all, it will call function two, correct? No, so function two will be called. Now inside this function two, I'm writing super dot function one. So what I'm doing here, I'm calling the immediate parent function. So is it having function one? So now tell me, if in this class A, if I'm not having function one, what will happen? So that point you have to remember. Okay, I'm calling. So in the earlier example of constructor, so I told, right, so almost each and every class should have constructor. And is the constructor name going to be changed? No, correct? No. So if you write super dot init, it will call automatically. But so when you're creating some function, we can give any name, correct? But if you are missing the name, okay, if you're writing super got some different function name, so in that case you may get some error. Okay, so you have to be very careful while typing also. Okay, but however you are typing in a PyCharm, you'll get the intelligence. If it's super dot, you'll get this function one. So select from the intelligence, so you will not get any error, correct? No. So what will be the output of this code? So, so class A function. So by using super keyword, we can call parent class method. Okay, so remember this parent class means immediate parent class, immediate parent class method. Okay, so output will be class A function, class B function. Okay, so here you may get some interview questions. So what are they? So what is super? So what is super? So super is a predefined keyword which refers to immediate parent class in inheritance tree. Okay, so that means if you're having inheritance tree, that is nothing but multi-level inheritance. So it will refer to immediate parent class. Okay, so example, so like this. So this is parent class, this is child class, this is grandchild class. So now if I'm using super in class B, if I'm using super in class B, it will refer to which class? A class. If I'm using super in B class, it will refer to A class. Similarly, if I'm using super in C class, it will refer to which class? So B class. It will refer to B class. Okay. So what is the use of super keyword? Okay, so we can use super for two purposes. Okay, so what is the first purpose? So to call the parent class constructor, to call the parent class constructor, that is parent class init method. And second one is to call the parent class normal method. Okay, parent class normal method. Okay, so we can use super for two purposes. Okay, so what is self keyword? To store the value or address. So super keyword refers to current class or current object. Okay, so it will be storing address of current class or current object. Okay, so what is use of self keyword? Huh? What is the use of self keyword? So you have used, right, self keyword so many number of times. So why is use of self keyword? To access same variable. Someone told the answer here. To access address. It will store the address of current object. That is true. But which type of variable will access through self? So that is your answer. Okay. So self can be used to refer to instance variables. So why I'm discussing these points? Because what is this? Interview questions. Okay. So you may get some interview questions related to this. Okay. So yeah, correct, Sujit Kumar. And Sangam Messi, when your answer is correct. Okay, so you can see here def init, so self m comma n. So now here I'm writing self dot x is equal to m, self dot y is equal to n. So what I'm doing here using self, I'm referring to which type of variable? So instance type of variables. Okay, so I think that will be enough for today. Okay, so today we have seen lot of examples. Okay, so what I want, you just try to execute and moreover try to debug each and every code. Okay, so we have seen lot of examples today. Okay, so what I want, so everyone should just execute this code. Okay, so already all of you are having the PPT, right? Okay, so just go to that PPT and just try to execute the code and moreover debug the code, so you'll get a clear picture of it. Okay, so that's all for today. Definitely you can use the class name. Okay, so this is one of the, okay, so this is also one of the way in which you can access the class variable of super class, like parent class. So PPT, okay, so you would have got one login for skill gun. Okay, you can go to skill gun and in the resource section you can find the PPT and you can download the PPT. Okay, so yeah, so that's what, so you can use super or you can use the class name. Okay, so both way you can do, so it is one of the way which you can access the class variables. But have I anywhere mentioned it? Okay, I have not mentioned, right? So in the PPT also I have clearly written, so super is used for two purposes: to access init method and access normal method. So do I have mentioned anywhere to access variables? No. Okay, and that is not recommended also. Is it clear now, Keshav Rao? Yeah, so class name for accessing init. I am not clear about the question. So what you are trying to ask? So can you be more specific? So what you are trying to ask? So okay, you're asking so class name for accessing init. So no, it's not recommended. Okay, so init you are supposed to use, okay, through object, not through the class name. Okay, so we have discussed, right, the types of method. So in the types of method we have seen clearly, correct? No, so when you create object, so this init method will be called. So is it clear now, Keshav Rao? No, okay. So yeah, so actually I'm running out of time. So whatever doubts you're having, I'll just go through it tomorrow. Okay. So I'll go through it tomorrow. So you can ask me the same doubt tomorrow. So that's all for today. So first you try to execute. Okay. So if you're getting any doubt, so I'll clarify tomorrow. Okay. If you're getting any doubt, I'll clarify definitely tomorrow. So here any doubts? No doubt. So you execute it, okay, once. So definitely you are going to get some doubt. So that's all for today.